Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. Jordan, we return for domestic league action after an action-packed Champions League midweek, and I'm looking forward to getting this thing started. We've got a ton of matches for you guys, including an El Clasico, so stick around. Here we go.
Martial, Herrera, Ibrahimovic! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch. Balotelli, Aguero!
Well, as I mentioned, Jordan, we have returned from that midweek Champions League action. We saw Europa League and Conference League playing today as well. And Jordan, how'd your midweek go?
My midweek went really well, Deb. It was a good Champions League midweek for me. 5-2 on my plays. Not quite as good for you though, Deb. You want to pull up the record from the midweek?
Yeah, let's take a look at it, Jordan. 2-3 on my end, minus 1.14 units. Jordan with a nice 5-2, keeping us afloat, plus 2.43 units for a total of 1.29. Look, it's in the positive, Jordan. I appreciate you keeping us afloat. I talked about how Michel Di Gregorio in the Club World Cup this summer put on a masterclass against Real Madrid for Juventus, and he did the same thing. He ran it back at the Bernabeu. I couldn't believe it. But, you live to fight another day. Okay, there's more plays we got this weekend, more opportunities. But yeah, it was a disappointing midweek for me, for sure. And I can't believe that I wasn't on anything in the PSG Leverkusen match. They couldn't stop scoring goals.
Yeah, that was wild. Even missing penalties, we still got to 8 goals. 9 goals. Wild stuff with a missed penalty. Crazy to see. But yeah, Dev, look, happy to keep you afloat. Sometimes you keep me afloat.
Floats.
I did it this time. What are big brothers for? Buddy?
Hey, thanks, pal. Well, we appreciate that. If you guys are watching this live, we do appreciate you hopping in and looking at the live feed on YouTube or X or Twitch. Or if you're listening to this later on your podcast apps, we do appreciate it. If you could take the time and throw us a little review on that podcast app, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify, the evil scum lords of Spotify, or jump onto the YouTube and give us a comment if you're watching this, or comment after the fact. We'll respond to it. It really helps us grow the algorithm and let other people see this show. We're especially trying to grow on YouTube, so if you could subscribe, we'd appreciate it. We've gotten a few. We're trickling in week by week, so we do appreciate that stuff, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, it costs you nothing, but gives you great karma for your bets. Jordan, we got a ton of matches we got to get to, so let's just dive into it, shall we? Because we got a banger on Saturday. It's the first El Clásico of the season. It sees Real Madrid as home favorites of a half a goal. Barcelona on the road as dogs of half a goal, and the total is set at 3.5. Jordan, both these teams taking care of business in the midweek. I mentioned before Real Madrid getting a 1-0 victory against Juventus. Barcelona dismantling Olympiacos at home. So what do you think about this matchup? It's the first Clásico of the season, and it is the first time ever that we've seen Hansi Flick and Xabi Alonso meet as managers.
Yeah, that's right, Dev. That's true, isn't it? I forgot that wrinkle. This match, to split hairs here, is actually on Sunday, not Saturday, but that doesn't matter.
Thank you.
We're still opening the show with it because it's probably the biggest match of the weekend across Europe, I would say. But there are a couple of tasty ones. But look, Dev, when we've got El Clasico lately, regardless of when Alonso was here or not, I think it's now... let me do quick maths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at least the last 6 straight El Clasicos across all competitions, Dev, have seen over 3.5 goals. Many of them seeing over 4.5 goals. And this one's being lined at 3.5. That's where this starts for me, Dev. That total there, over 3.5. I think this could be a potential ladder play. You want to take this up a little higher. Maybe Alonso comes in and tries to change that. We did see at Leverkusen, Alonso would sometimes spoil our party with taking overs in Bayern versus Bayer Leverkusen, playing this weird like bus parking way, but I don't think he has the horses to even do that here with Real Madrid because they're just still a little bit suspect defensively for me, at least from what we've seen so far in La Liga in particular. And we just know the way Barcelona are. They gonna score no matter how Real Madrid set up for this one. But Dev, I'm bullish that this one is another just absolute barn burner where we see a ton of goals. I'm so bullish on it, Dev, that I'm going to take a play that doesn't even appear on the card here. Went deeper into the markets. I'm taking both teams to score. You go, well, hang on. That's minus 300, Jordan. Well, if you take both teams to score in the first half, I'll tell you what that is, plus 200. And that's where I'm taking this, Dev. I think both teams get on the net in the first 45.
Wow, George's in his bag. If you guys are listening to this, I've seen his plays, and I'm letting you know right now, he's deep in the bag. I like it, George. I like it. It's bold. It's a bold shout. We know how Barcelona play with that high line. Look, Barcelona have dominated Madrid when Carlo Ancelotti was there, right? So I think you mentioned this, right? The past 5 matchups, there's a ton of goals, but there's also Barcelona winning everything. And these two teams, just you can't even slice them, right? It's 1 and 2 in every category. Expected goals for, expected goal differential, points in the table. This is 1 and 2. This will go a huge way toward deciding this title race. So the stakes couldn't be higher. And you're giving me Barcelona getting half of a goal here? I know they're on the road, but so that means you're telling me that Real Madrid is quarter of a goal better on a neutral. You give quarter of a goal for the home field there. And I don't know that that's true. At least recent history in the head-to-head says it's not. And you can say that Xabi Alonso is a better coach than Hansi Flick. Perhaps that's true. But when something's this tight, you're telling me you're giving me this half a goal. I just think it's too good a value to pass up. So I am going to take that Barcelona plus a half. Look, it's a little bit scary. You know, Madrid easily could win this game. They are favored to pretty greatly at even money on the money line. Barcelona plus 230 on the money line. That number jumped out to me too. I thought, why not just take a flyer on this thing at plus 230? There's injuries to both sides, particularly in defense, right? Excuse me. But I believe Barcelona is getting Rafinha back for this. Real Madrid is going to get Dean Huijsen back for this. So that'll be big for their defense. But I still just think this is going to be end-to-end. And I'm surprised that Ancelotti couldn't figure out a way to beat Flick, because with Mbappe and Vinny Jr., it seems like the perfect two guys to go against a high line, right? Just lump the ball back every time. Just play long, and they're going to run onto it. They couldn't seem to figure it out. Maybe they do this time. But for me, it's just too good of value for that plus a half a goal. And, Jordan, I'm double dipping, baby. I'm diving right back in. I'm going to take the over 3.5 goals on its own. Minus 114 on the screen here. That's getting way worse if you're following the juice. So put that in now if you like it. Again, 1 and 2 in the table, really close match. It could go under, but it's just the way these two teams play. It's like, how do we not see at least 4 goals? So I'm double dipping here. Separate plays. I'm not parlaying or anything, but over 3.5 goals in the match. Barcelona plus a half a goal. And George, you got both teams to score first half, which is a huge swing. I love it.
That's right, Deb. We got 3 units. The podcast has 3 units in play on El Clasico, first El Clasico of the season. We got Andrew in the chat saying Bellingham to score? ? It's not a bad shout. He's a big game player. And what do big game players do, Dev?
Make big time plays in big time games.
That's right, baby.
I would need to see the price on that, because I'd need at least like 4-1, I think.
Go ahead and queue up the next match, and I'll tell you what that price is, baby.
Awesome. Yeah, let's dive into that one, George. We're moving over now to the Premier League. We're taking a look at Arsenal against Crystal Palace. This one sees Arsenal, league leaders Arsenal, perfect record in the Champions League Arsenal, as home favorites here of a goal and a quarter, minus 1.25, and the total is set at 2.75. Jord, Crystal Palace was on an incredible run. They were unbeaten for something crazy, 15 matches or something. Then they finally lost, and then they lost again today in the Conference League. Surprising loss to Athens in a 1-0. And then Arsenal, boy, they dismantled Atletico Madrid. I felt like a moron because I was on Atletico on the spread there. And what did Arsenal win? 5-0, 4 or 5-0. Insane.
Yeah.
And they just looked the part, man. They looked the part. They were my pick to win the Prem this year, and it's looking pretty good right now. But Jordan, what do you think about this matchup, which is yet another London derby?
Yet another indeed, Dev. And one of the more exciting London derbies now because Palace are the real deal. They are up there in all of the metrics. I mean, based on the results they're getting, they're in a title race, technically. Now, they're not actually because of how well the teams above them that are like in the title race proper are doing. But many seasons, when you go as unbeaten for as long as Palace have, that's title challenging form. Quick aside here, you can get Jude Bellingham to score anytime in El Clasico at plus 180. You can get Bellingham to score or assist at even money.
Score assist is better, but the anytime plus 180, that's not nearly good enough for me.
Wow.
I mean, you might as well take Vinny Jr. or something, right?
I don't know. He's not a big time player that shows up in big time games, so we'll see. But Arsenal Palace here, those guys aren't involved in this one. I wouldn't take goal scorer props in this one, Dev, because I think 0-0 is a runner here. Arsenal coming off of that emphatic victory in the midweek. But they are home here, hosting a Palace team that are hungry and tricky customers. I just see, Palace's defense, no slouches either, but Arsenal probably the best defense in Europe. I'm not sure Palace score here. I'm not sure anyone scores on Arsenal ever again. It's become that problematic. But, set piece FC here, long throw FC could probably get something out of this. And we say it every week, Dev, the classic 1-0 to the Arsenal, 2-0 to the Arsenal, right? That's what I see here, Dev. So I'm not complicating this one. I'm going under 2.75 where it's line, baby, minus 121. Do shop around on that. Might be able to get something better, but I just don't see 3 goals in this unless Palace completely collapse like Atleti did in the second half. But I don't see that. I think they're so organized. London derby makes it tight. So yeah, give me the under.
Yeah, well, I like I like where your head's at there, George. But I will say,
where's your head at?
Bam, bam, where's your head at? I will say that this Crystal Palace team leads the EPL in expected goals this season. So I think they can get on the score sheet, George. I'm going. It's not really oppo with you, but I think this starts at 1-1 for me. So I'm going with the both teams to score at even money. Arsenal's gonna score. They're a juggernaut right now. They're really we talk about it every week because we've talked about their games like every single week. And it's twice now that they've burned me, and I'm going back to the well and picking a team to score against them. Look, Arsenal, you can still win the game, but can you concede a goal? Can you just concede one goal? They are 4 straight clean sheets. Atleti, the most impressive to me. But Atleti had chances in that game. They had chances.
Yeah, hit the crossbar. That's one I remember.
Yeah.
But I will say,
Julian Alvarez one was rough.
In the Premier League, we're not seeing Arsenal quite as the juggernaut, right? Like, they're defensively stout. They've only conceded 3 goals on the season so far through 8 games. But they're not lighting teams up like they did against Atleti. That was just a collapse, I think, by Atleti. But no credit taken away from Arsenal. Like, they earned all those goals, except maybe the first Gyökeres one. But, I just think in the Prem, it's kind of a different thing, or at least things don't go according to plan for them.
I'm with you. I think the competition is just higher. It honestly is better. And the teams that they've played, Fulham, West Ham, Olympiacos, even in the Champions League, Newcastle, these aren't teams that they're blown away. So you're right about that. But I got to pick Palace to at least get on the score sheet here. I'm going with both teams to score, yes. If they're going to keep giving me like an even money price on for 2 goals in a game, like, I have to keep taking it. And Palace, they lost 1-0 to Athens today, but it's a completely different game than they're going to face against Arsenal. Athens is in a low block. If you look at the I can look at it right now. The possession in this game was insane, right? Statistically.
While you're doing that, I'll pull up. Andrew
you.
is back in the chat. Says late Eze equalizer, doesn't celebrate. Interesting. So not only does he think Eze scores, but he thinks Arsenal go behind in this one at some point, Dev. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take 1-0 Palace, then 1-1 Arsenal. We both cash at the end of the day. Happy to have Eze do that. We got DG Jones in the chat saying, come on, you Gunners. Okay. And Bob D, our old friend in the chat, Arsenal win to 0. Plus 125. He sees 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's I didn't even think about the Eze angle. That's a good one. Eze revenge game. Not really a revenge, a homecoming, if you will. But yeah, I think Crystal Palace would get on the board here. Look, they put up over 1.66 XG against Athens. They had 15 shots. They had 44 touches in Athens' box. That's not going to be the game state against Arsenal. They're going to be on the back foot. They're going to be the ones defending. And I think they're good enough on the counter that they can make something happen here. Arsenal will concede a goal eventually, right?
Well, they've conceded 3. They've conceded 3 on the season.
Pretty impressive. Yeah. Pretty impressive, I will say. They're way above their expected goals allowed, though. So, can we get a regression to the mean? Can we get it, please? But let's move on, Jordan. We spent too much time here because we've got a resurgent Manchester United against Brighton and Hove Albion. United in this one are home favorites of half a goal. And the total set at a flat 3. Jordan, in this one, what do you think about this matchup? Look, we had that Man U win against Liverpool, which was a big one. I was on that one, cashed it last weekend. And then Brighton beat Newcastle last week. They just seem to always be frisky against these big teams. So what do you think about this matchup?
Well, Dev, my favorite moment of the Sager week probably the whole week, including Champions League this week. But going back to last weekend was the Harry Maguire winner and that fucking knee slide. That knee slide he did in front of the Man U away fans. Like, so happy for that dude. He's been so unfairly maligned in his recent career. Just love his mentality. He's stuck with it. Hey, we talk about big players that show up and make big plays in big games. That's what this guy does. He'll come on as a 100%. Sub and he'll get winners. Like, yeah, dude's a fucking baller. So props to Maguire.
Dude's a fucking baller. Sorry, I shouldn't mock you on here. That's little brother for you. Sorry.
Yeah, shouldn't mock me. What else do we do on this show? Fair. But yeah, look, loved that. And listen, Man U, 2 wins on the bounce now. Things look like they're starting to click. Looks like confidence is building in the team. You can't go away and win at Anfield and then not build on that in your following game at home against the Brighton team that you should be beating, right? Like on paper, Danny Welbeck's like 45 and he's getting braces. Like, come on. That can't continue here. Like, make this count. Make that Anfield win count, Man U. Now, the data tells you to just take goals in this and don't mess around with the side. But I'm backing this Man U team, Dev. I think they need to make that win count. Look, it would be 3 wins on the bounce. They've actually won every home game they've played this season, except for the opening day, which was against Arsenal, where they lost 1-0. And I think we're the better team on the day. I think they were unlucky to lose that. So at home, they've been excellent. And Brighton have their only losses on the season, Brighton, have come on the road. So there is a recipe here. And this isn't really a data-based handicap, right? This is a vibes thing. It's based on narratives. That's what I'm going with. Man United on the money line, Dev, at my favorite, even money.
United. Well, you're braver than I am, George, because I'm going to go with just the both teams to score and over, baby. We've seen it cash in the last 2 head-to-heads between these two. Have you ever seen, I just look at the 2 badges of the teams and I go, oh, 2-1. 2-1, either way. I've never seen anything screams 2-1 more. We've got over 2.5 goals, 6 of the last 7 United matches, over 2.5 and 7 of the last 8.
When Devin sees, when Devin gets a Rorschach test and they show a devil and a seagull, he goes 2-1. 2-1 scoreline.
And they go, well, he's going in the bin, the loony bin.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Yeah, it's a simple thing for me there, Jordan. It's just you look at the way these teams play. They're both conceding goals. Both teams to score as a runner here. Minus 200, great parlay piece. And can we get a third? I think we probably can. United, their two attacking signings have been excellent, right? Or I guess they have three, but Šeško in and out of the lineup. I don't know. He's figuring it out. It's harder for number 9s, I think, to adjust to a new league. But
they need to just
and
play
Cunha.
They need to just play him every game.
Well, that's what they should have done with Højlund.
With Gyökeres. Like, it was ugly for a while, but it's starting to click. Like, you just got to throw him in and let him go.
If they had purchased instead of Šeško and just kept Højlund and then got like either one of the wing backs that are so important to Amorim's system or another holding player to play in there with like instead of Casemiro or Garte, like this team would be a problem. They didn't need a striker. Anyway, no point talking about that. Look, 2-1 for me. That's where it starts. And so both teams score and over 2.5 is minus 125.
To be clear, you're not saying who you think the 2-1 goes to. Do you have a lean?
I really think it could go either way. I've in the recent years, I'm so used to United falling short at Old Trafford against teams like Brighton. It just wouldn't surprise me. Right. But I wish you luck. I hope it's United for your case, bro. Let's move on. We've got one more Premier League matchup for you guys, and it's Chelsea against Sunderland. It's the first time we said Sunderland, I think, on the show. This one sees Chelsea as home favorites of a goal and a quarter, minus 1.25. The total is set at 2.75. George, Chelsea dismantled an Ajax team that got red carded early and never was really in the match. And now they have to turn around for the early kickoff on Saturday. Sleepy lunchtime kickoff against a plucky Sunderland side that has been quite good and I believe is sitting 7th in the table at the moment. Pretty impressive. So, Jordan, what do you think about this matchup? Sunderland traveling to Chelsea.
Well, Dev, it just reminds me, you called it a soupy kickoff, and, you know, it just reminds me of what you told me before we started recording. You were going to make a nice autumn chili, got all the stuff going. You had your beans and your meat and your stuff, and you're cutting up onions, and you forgot the goddamn chili powder, and now you just got soup. It's a real shame.
I got a bean soup. It's trash.
But what I have to say about this, Dev, look, we're 22 minutes in already. We got a ton of matches to cover. I don't have a play for this one. The floor is yours, my friend.
Jeez. Yeah, well, thank you for outing me about my chili. You're right. We got to move on here. Look, sleepy noontime kickoff. What's Sunderland going to do in this match? They're going to park the fucking bus, and they're going to say, you can't score on us, you lot. We've had 4 away games for Sunderland. All of them have gone under the total. I'm going under the total here, George, 2.75. I thought we were going to get it at just 2.5. So the little extra quarter feels like a gift because maybe Sunderland get on the board, but I don't think so against this Chelsea defense. It's been pretty good. But Chelsea, look, take the Ajax match out of it. It was weird. There were multiple penalties. Game was insane. Multiple red cards. This Chelsea team loves getting red cards. They're probably good to get a red card in this as well if you can bet that market.
So undisciplined.
Somebody will get a red card. And they get João Pedro back for this. He wasn't there in the midweek. So he's a big ad for their attack going forward. But this feels just like an unders game. It's like maybe a 1-0, maybe 2-0, maybe a 1-1. Maybe Sunderland can get something out of this. They've been quite good. But for me, sleepy time kickoff, Sunderland on the road. Spells an under for me at 2.75. I'll take it, George, minus 105.
Makes sense, Dev. It tracks.
Let's move over to Die Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Where we've got a bunch of matches. Jordan has woken up his Bavarian spirit here. And we're starting with Bayern Leverkusen against Freiburg. This one sees Leverkusen as home favorites, 3/4 of a goal, minus 0.75. Total is set at 2.75. Jordan, Leverkusen got destroyed by PSG in the midweek in the Champions League. No shame in it. It happens to a lot of teams. Freiburg on the other side of this in the Europa, I believe it was Europa 1 and a 2-0. So what do you think about this matchup with Freiburg traveling over to Leverkusen?
It was so fun that the most fun thing about that 9-goal game with Leverkusen and PSG was that it was 10 on 10 for like a large stretch of that match. Like both teams down to 10 men, still just scoring goals against each other. Pretty unreal. Look, Dev, I have my beer stein here. I got my lederhosen on, but I don't have a play for this match, baby. I got something for the other 2 Bundesliga games on the card. Once again, I ping pong back to you.
Yeah, look, it's simple. It's both teams to score, and it's over 2.5. You're going to hear that a lot from me. You could play the over 2.75 at plus 103 here. That's a runner. But I'm getting plus money, plus 105 for both teams to score. And over 2.5. Look, we've seen these teams do this constantly. I'm going to pull up these statistics now. You threw me off, George, because you're not talking.
While
you got
you're
nothing
doing
to
that,
say.
I do have something to say. I want to know, because I know your play. Both teams score an over 2.5. It's actually coming in at plus 105.
That's right.
And my question is, why? Why is this lined at 2.75? Why is both teams to score? Yes, playable on its own, minus 134. This is a Bundesliga match, is it not? Like, what? Why is the market telling us that this might go under?
Well, I think it's the same reason that the market was a little bit hesitant in the PSG match, which is that Leverkusen's missing Patrick Schick and Malik Tillman, who are probably their 2 best goal-scoring players.
Yeah, you got fullbacks taking penalties, which is interesting.
Right, yeah. I mean, Grimaldo, if he gets a free kick anywhere near the box, it's going in. The guy's incredible. So, and at home, I think they'll get something here. And then on the other side, this Freiburg scores in every match. So for me, it's like both teams have scored in Leverkusen matches 9 of the last 10. We have seen some unders in Freiburg matches in 4 of their last 5 across all comps. That includes the Europa today. But when they face each other, 8 straight both teams to scores, and 7 of the last 8 have over 2.5 goals. So for me, I've never seen anything that looks like more like a 2-2. You know, you see the Leverkusen Lions and that weird eagle or whatever it is on Freiburg, and I'm like, oh, 2-2.
Fear the badge. Fear the Freiburg badge. The most terrifying badge in European soccer. But Dev, once again, with the Rorschach test. In fact, the Freiburg badge is a Rorschach test on its own.
Yeah,
is that a bird?
It is in itself. Yeah, I think it's an eagle. Yeah, you know, German eagles.
Dead eagle.
So, yeah, could be dead. Let's move on, Jordan. We got more Bundesliga. Yeah, it's Hamburg against Wolfsburg. This one sees Hamburg as home favorites here of 1/4 of a goal. Total set at a flat 3. Jordan, I don't know anything about these teams right now, so I'm going to let you take the floor.
Yeah, Hamburg, or hamburger, as they're called sometimes. Actually not where the hamburger comes from. Weird, right?
Wait, that's insane. That's not true.
It is true. It actually came. It's kind of like how Iceland and Greenland are the opposite, right? Like they did it to throw off ships. Hamburg and Frankfurt do it to like throw off foodies, I guess. Like Hamburg actually created the Frankfurt, and Frankfurt created the hamburger. Super weird.
No, I refuse to believe.
Look it up,
people.
Real. Google it. We can't spend time. But yeah, look, Dev, might be kind of an odd one to make the card here, but I've been enjoying Hamburg the last couple of seasons. Was really happy to see them get promoted this season. I did enjoy them in Bundesliga 2. And look, they're a storied club in Germany. They need to be in the Bundesliga. They belong here. Incredible home support, huge club in Germany. And they're doing well. Looks like they're going to stay up, Dev, at least as far as it looks right now. They're about mid-table. Wolfsburg have been absolutely dreadful. They should be ashamed of themselves. They were a team that made me some money last season. They're not doing it this season. I haven't backed them yet, thankfully. I'm going to fade them again here, Dev. The only thing I couldn't decide on here, I mean, this is a game where Hamburg will have circled on the calendar we can get 3 points from, right? Wolfsburg are dropping like a stone. They've conceded 3 goals in each of their last 2 matches. This is a game where Hamburg can score and win the match. The only thing I couldn't decide was whether I just take the money line plus 135 or just take the team total for Hamburg over 1.5. I do think if they score twice, they probably win the match, but something just made me go a little more pragmatic here. So I did just stick with the team total. Hamburg to score twice at minus 115. I wouldn't put anyone off taking the money line. And come Saturday, I may actually take the money line as well. But yeah, this is a game Hamburg should be winning, and I expect them to heap more misery on this Wolfsburg side. But just in case Wolfsburg feel frisky and get a couple goals themselves, I'm sticking with the team total.
George, there's a lot of argumentation online about where the hamburger was invented. People are saying it's from America. It's an American dish. It's quintessentially American.
Shh. Just leave it, mate.
Leave
it. Leave it out.
I'm going to be, I got my homework after this. Well, good luck on your play there, Jordan. We got another Bundesliga match for you guys, and it is Borussia Monchengladbach against Bayern Munich. This one sees Gladbach as home dogs of 2 full goals, +2. The total is set at 4. Insane numbers in this one, Jordan. Bayern, we know what they are. The machine. Gladbach had a rocky start to the season. They're on their second manager here. They've had a hard time scoring goals, but now they're hosting the Rekordmeister. So what do you think about this matchup, Jordan?
Yeah, Dev, look, longtime listeners to this show will know why this match has made our card, has made the show. And that's because it's Gladbach hosting Bayern Munich. This is one of our bread and butter system plays, Deb, since we've been a podcast. There's just something in the water in Gladbach, okay? For whatever reason, no matter whether their season's going well or whether it's going poorly, it's usually the latter. They get up for the Bayern match and only lose it by 1 goal, which is, they don't necessarily win it very often. But I mean, you go back like 6 matches here, they're at least pushing this spread. For whatever reason, home or away, they tend to do better at home. They've actually nicked a couple results when they're the home team. So, yeah, you got to hold your nose for this one. I actually only put this on because I was like, we have to bet it. It's a system play for the show. It's kind of fun. I don't want to fade Bayern right now. They're absolutely terrifying. But you know what? It's just fun to have on the card. I don't begrudge anyone who doesn't want to get involved in this. DG Jones in the chat knew right away. We're back in Gladbach here, aren't we? Yes, we are. I'm taking Gladbach, getting a 2 full goals. I think they can at least push this number. But I'm hoping Bayern just win by 1, as they so often do when they meet Gladbach. And yet the market refuses to handicap this Gladbach team correctly. That's the play.
Well, are we sure they're not capping them correctly? Because this team isn't very good, George. This isn't.
Yeah, but you have to throw that all out. You have to throw everything. It's like it's in a vacuum. It's them playing Bayern. You have to throw everything else out.
Dude, oh my God, this reminds me. Have you seen that clip of they like filmed it? It's like a group of Monchengladbach fans, a group of Bayern fans. The teams are playing.
Yes.
And it's the challenge to see, can they stay silent the entire match? And Gladbach was one of the games we bet on. This is maybe a year or 2 ago. And Gladbach scores the first goal, and the guys jump up, but they have to be silent. They're so excited. They're spilling beer, falling over each other. It was incredible.
So good. And then it pans over to the Bayern couch, and the guys are just sitting there miserable, silent.
Yeah.
It's so good. You got to look it up on YouTube. Just type in like Gladbach Bayern fans challenge to be silent.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, it was one of my favorite things to watch.
So good.
But yeah, Jory, look, you mentioned you can go back to I think it's like 2018 or something was the last time that they Gladbach didn't at least push this spread of the full 2. But look, they've only scored 6 goals through 7 games. This
they
season.
Could get 6 in this one. It's its own thing. It's its own outlier, baby.
If they get 1, I think they probably will cover. But it's just too scary with this Bayern. The way they're playing right now, they're just too dominant. I like to stay off it. I'm glad you're on it though, George. Somebody's got to be on it. When it's the reverse, when it's in Munich and the spread's even bigger, I like it even more. But here, look, it's too big of a spread for a home team, even though this Gladbach team is dead last in the Bundesliga at the moment.
It's not exciting. It's going to be nervy.
Yeah, well, it'll be a good sweat. It'll be fun either way. Look, Jordan, we're moving on. We got 2 more matchups for you guys, so please stick around. And we got to head over to Serie, where we've got an excellent big-time matchup in the standing. It's Napoli against Internazionale Milano. This one sees Napoli as home dogs of a quarter of a goal, and the total is set at 2.25. Jordan, Napoli cannot get wins under Conte in the Champions League. They just can't do it. On the other side, Inter in the midweek, they can't stop winning. They've won every single matchup they've had in that league, and they're currently, these two teams are 2 and 3 in the Serie A table. So huge matchup here, Jordan. What do you think about this one taking place down in Naples?
Yeah, Dev, look, it is bizarre what's going on with Antonio Conte throughout his career in the Champions League. I don't know if he just doesn't fancy the tournament, thinks it's a distraction. He just cares about league titles. Maybe that's what it is, and he just wouldn't mind crashing out early. I don't know, but they just do not do well, Conte teams in the Champions League. It's been a hallmark of his career. But look, this is Serie A. And Dev, I thought it was interesting because last week we covered Roma hosting Inter, and the lines for the match, I know because I just used the same card here when I was changing out the numbers and the teams, were almost identical. Like the way the market has this match lined is just within a few cents on everything. Inter went off as quarter goal favorites at the Olimpico. They're going off as quarter goal favorites here. The money line prices were similar. The total was set the same way. Very interesting. And what happened in the last match? Well, we took Inter, and Inter won 1-0, as every Roma match ends, as we've talked about. Very strange. 1-0 either way. So, yeah, I just think Inter are a class above in Serie A. They're the team to beat. It seems like maybe at first, after the Inzaghi left and Kivu took over, it was a little rocky, and then they were really gassed in that Club World Cup. You could tell they were just completely running on fumes. But they're fit again. They're firing. They were actually battering Roma for large stretches of that match. Probably should have won by more. They did let Roma back into it towards the end, but they were able to see it out. I just think they're the better team here. Napoli missing Lukaku is a big deal. They are getting goals from elsewhere, but not enough. And
Højlund as well. Højlund's also out now.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah,
Lorenzo Luca starting at number 9.
Lorenzo Luca versus this Boni. I can't remember his first name, but Boni, the guy who's kind of come in as a Thuram replacement for Inter, he's been on fire in Serie A to start the season. I just like Inter here, same way I did against Roma. I know they're on the road, but look, if they draw the game, I only lose half my stake. I'm taking them on the spread here, minus a quarter of a goal at plus money, plus 105. I think they can win this game. And yeah, I'm just going to give myself a little protection because let's not kid ourselves. This is Serie A. A draw is always a possibility. So Inter minus a quarter on the Asian handicap, plus 105, Deb.
Yeah, Jordan, I was hand-wringing on this play for so long. I was looking at every angle, deep into weird markets about cards and corners and first halves and and I just couldn't find a play. The both teams to score no at minus 106 was the most tempting to me.
Yeah,
could absolutely see the 1-0 you mentioned. Could be a 0-0, to be honest. Yep. The under 2.25, you're like, okay, well that seems good. It's an Italian, title decider, a huge 6-pointer here for the top 6 of the table. But then you see that Napoli's had over 2.5 goals in 5 of their last 6 matches across all comps. These two teams, when they've met, and I like that both teams score no, well, both teams have scored in 3 straight matchups head-to-head, and they've all been 1-1s. So I could absolutely see that score line. I think Inter's the better team. I agree with everything you said there. I think Napoli's going to have trouble scoring goals without Højlund and Lukaku now. It's going to have to be done on like set pieces, free kicks kind of thing. And Inter is, when they're firing, they are very, very good. I mean, what's his face? Lautaro Martinez, is he just the best guy on the counter, like playing in a 2-striker system? He's just so good at those little, like, just hit a little pass in the direction of the guy and it always finds him. He's so awesome at doing that. I really like watching them counterattack. But
yeah, so good at getting a shot away.
Right. Yeah, he's quick. He's not like the most physically talented. Like, he's not huge or anything. But,
you know what never happens to him? He never is the guy that like can't get the ball out of his feet to get the shot away. That it's like, oh, it just couldn't quite get it out. His first touch is always so good. He always is able to get a shot off.
Oh man, you're lively tonight, man. What's in that cup? What's in that green cup of yours?
Ask me no questions. I'll tell you no lies.
But yeah, look, Inter top of the Serie A in expected goals for. Both of these teams top 4 in expected goals allowed. I think it's going to be a tight one and probably pretty disgusting. I liked it to stay off it because I just didn't like the price. I just didn't like the lines for it, Jordan.
Yeah, fair enough, Deb. Fair enough. Being pragmatic. I like it.
Yeah, well, let's move on, Jordan. We got one more match, and for some reason, it's from Liga. Dijon Mustard. It's Stade Brestois against Paris Saint-Germain. At least we got PSG in this thing, George, because they are road favorites here of a goal and a quarter minus 1.25. Total is set at 3.25, and you're going to have to talk me through this one, George, because I don't even know where you can watch Ligue 1 in the United States.
Well, you got to, do some illegal Twitter stuff, and you can watch it quite well. You can also watch it on certain betting apps here in the U.S. now, but you don't get commentary. You just get crowd noise. But that's not terrible. Listen, Dev, Stade Brestois. We only call them Brest when they are away to Nice so that us gentlemen of culture can say, nice Brest. But look, they'll be Brestois today hosting PSG. Look, Dev, Brest have actually been doing pretty well lately. Couple of wins on the bounce, unbeaten in a while. It doesn't matter, man. This is men against boys. We've seen it when PSG play them. It's just whatever they do, however well they're playing, they cannot hang with this PSG team, a team that's coming in from the Champions League with massive confidence after absolutely trucking Leverkusen in the midweek. And, I think Brest do score here, right? It's minus 150. Both teams score, yes. They're at home here. They do tend to score on PSG, but it doesn't matter because PSG scores so many goals. I think you could just take the over in this one. I think you could probably take PSG on the spread. I'm going to do a little parlay here, Dev. PSG to win the match and over 2.5 goals coming in at minus 115. I think that's fair enough. And you just look at the data for this one. Just go back on the head-to-heads, go back on PSG's matches in Liga, what they did in the midweek. What was really scary about it is that they've got Doué back, and then Dembele came on, and he scored as well. Like, they're getting fit again. They're getting healthy. Yeah, look out, Brest.
Look out. Jordan, I'll have you know that these two teams in their head-to-heads, Paris have not lost against Brest in 20 straight meetings.
It's so wild.
So this shouldn't be a difficult run out for PSG. They were so good in that Leverkusen match. And Jack in the chat says, "Where's the French accent, Devin?" I don't like him using my full government name. I will tell you what a French accent is when I find it.
Yeah, I heard the Dijon mustard.
Yes, Dijon.
Sounding like Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast.
How many people can we offend? Can we offend every European nation on this podcast? That's what we're going for. But Jordan, look, it's one thing to talk about these matchups, but it's quite another to put up money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
Let's throw up the official plays here, Jord. And for those of you watching later on YouTube, this is what you can fast forward to. I'll read out my plays on my side. I've got Real Madrid against Barcelona, also known as El Clásico. Over 3.5 goals on the Asian total, minus 114. I'm also taking Barcelona plus 0.5 goal on the Asian handicap, minus 121. Arsenal against Crystal Palace. Both teams to score, yes, at even money. Jord's favorite price, plus 100. Manchester United Against Brighton, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at -125. Chelsea, Sunderland, under 2.75 on the Asian total, -105. And Leverkusen, Freiburg, both teams to score and over 2.5, +105. Jordan, what do you got?
Solid card there, Dev. I like seeing more than 5 plays from you this time. Let's go. George got Real Madrid, Barcelona, both teams to score in the first half. Starting this off with a +200 banger. Let's go. Come on, guys. Arsenal, Palace, under 2.75 on the Asian total, coming in at -121. I've got Man U, Dev, to win the match. Man U hosting Brighton. Man U on the money line, +100. Hamburg, team total, over 1.5, -115. System play here for the podcast. Borussia Monchengladbach, +2 on the Asian handicap, coming in at -111. Inter Milan, -0.25 goal on the Asian handicap at +105. And finally, the match we just discussed, Paris Saint-Germain on the money line and over 2.5 goals in the match at -115.
Right on, Jordan. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for jumping in live and chirping in the chat with us. We appreciate that. As always, please give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, whatever platform you're on. It goes a long way, helps us out a lot. We do appreciate that. And we do have in the chat, Jack says, nothing on Hammers versus Leeds. That's a relegation 6-pointer, George, for your West Ham United.
Yeah. Well, if you watched my terrible team on Monday, you would know exactly why we are not backing any Hammers match again until further notice. We need to see what the hell is going on there, what Nuno is doing. At this point, I would just say take Leeds in any direction, but I'm obviously not going to do that as an Iron supporter.
Yeah, I don't want any part of that relegation 6-pointer. No, thanks. But Jordan, any last words for the people?
Just to echo your sentiment, Dev, to thank them, to appreciate them for being here, those of them that tuned in live and those that watch this in perpetuity. Actually, not in perpetuity, because our content really only is relevant for a few days per episode. So anyone who's watching this after it's live, I should say. And of course, our loyal listenership who listen on the podcast, the old schoolers, the OGs, we appreciate each and every one of you. Leave us a review. If you're enjoying the show, send one in, particularly on Apple Podcasts. We will read it out on the show if it's 5 stars. Other than that, let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Martial.